revolutionizing the way people treat people in business. The Experience Pros, America's home for positive business talk.
Welcome back to the Experience Pros Radio Show. This is America's home for positive business talk. Angel Tussey and Eric Raymer, empowering you to build your brand right here on the radio.
I love what we get to do. I love when we take a business who is just feeling a little weary over everything that they've been doing.
Right.
And of course, when you start in business, you're so excited. You're so passionate about where you're going and what you're going to create. And you don't realize, what the journey is really going to look like. But when we bring a business on board into our All-Star program and help them to create that solid messaging, surround them with the community, and then give them the platform to go out and to be that influencer.
You bet. Everything
shifts. The reason you got into business and what you thought it was going to be finally kind of gels together.
It really does. And in so doing, you realize that there's a strategy to every step of why we do what we do and where it fits in the greater picture of things. Again, we've said before, you don't become an influencer simply by calling yourself one. In fact, if you call yourself one, chances are you're not. And so to become an influencer, other people have to recognize you as such. Other people have to acknowledge your status or credibility in the sphere and space where you are.
Yeah, it's like telling people, I'm really good at keeping secrets.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to tell me.
Chances are you're not. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about another reason why you should move into accelerating your status to get to influencer status. And that is, when you get to become an influencer, you can now leverage your content. You can take that content and put it out across multiple platforms, creating multiple areas of venues and formats that one thing can now be leveraged into multiple things. I'll give you an example. Let's say you come on the radio, you do a segment on the radio here at the Experience Pros Radio Show. Influencers tend to take those 10-minute segments and break them up by questions and answers. So we typically get 3, 4, maybe 5 questions in a 10-minute segment, right?
Right.
An influencer knows that they're going to be able to take that question, question number 1 and answer number 1 and create a blog.
One blog. I was talking to my daughter and I've got twin daughters, and they started a YouTube channel on Twin Talk.
Yeah.
And she had said, we get all these questions all the time. These people ask them questions about twins, who's older and do you guys get along? She just rattled off like 3, 4, 5, 6 questions, and she was like, boom, boom, boom.
Each one is an episode.
This is what I said. Yeah, don't address them all in one episode.
Right.
Each one in and of itself is a blog, is an article, is a podcast, is a talk, is a chapter in a book, and it goes on and on. Think about this when Eric talks about leveraging. This is, have you ever wanted to clone yourself? Have you ever wanted to be in 2 places at once because there's just so much good of you to go around? This is the brilliance of leveraging your marketing. You don't have to recreate it brand new every single time. You take this one piece and you repurpose it.
And how many times, and again, you can now ask yourself, is that appealing to me, or am I still in the space of doing the same storyline over and over and over again in different arenas? Angel, I remember when I was a professional magician, and I would go into a venue and and this is a simple little thing, but I would write up my introduction, right? So the person who was going to introduce me,
right.
I would handwrite, please welcome Eric Raymer. He's a professional illusionist, been doing it for so many years, done this accomplishment, that accomplishment. I would write all this down, and I would submit that to the person. The next night I'd be in another venue, and guess what I would do again? I would write the same dang intro over and over and over again.
Oh
And
my goodness.
It didn't dawn on me.
It didn't?
No,
It
I mean,
didn't?
not for I'm embarrassed to say, but not for years. I was comfortable with the process. That's what I did every single time.
Okay.
But it
Okay.
didn't dawn on me that, you know what? If I wanted to be considered an influencer, if I wanted to be considered a professional, maybe I ought to like type this up and send it ahead of me to the promoter or presenter
This
of the event.
completely cracks me up. This completely cracks me up because I remember watching him write it down. And I'm thinking, didn't you write this down the last time? Is it
Yep.
different? Is it different
Nope.
every time? He's like, no, it's the same.
Yeah.
Yes. And
I think at one point you said they have something called a ditto machine or a Xerox machine. And I was
but
like,
it's
I
just,
know.
as you said, we get into our routine.
We do.
This is our system. Like, this is what we know. I remember in house before we had a CRM system and all of this, a system for each client. We had a folder for each client
Sure.
and a checklist on the outside of each folder for each client of what they needed to do. And I remember, going through, I had to carry around the stack of folders. And, and we start out with, 3, 5, 7 clients, this is good. And then there's 12 and then there's 27.
Right.
And now this stack is huge.
And you were a filing cabinet.
And I was this is what required my presence, was this stack that I had to pay attention to every single day. But it's again, because when you start out, you're probably only writing it once in a while.
Well, you're absolutely right. But now you're writing it every day. And here's the thing, Angel, the minute the light went on for me and I decided to create a media kit so that I could send the same information out to all the different people every different night, right? Something dynamic shifted in the way that they treated me. And all of a sudden, I was considered an influencer. I was considered a credible entity rather than somebody who's just home making their notes, right? It was a dynamic shift from one to the next. And that's all we're trying to say here is that you can have that shift happen for you as well. You can leverage your content and create multiple uses for the same content that you're doing, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time. That's going to do it for us today. We want to thank you for tuning in. Angel Tossi and Eric Raymer, empowering you to build your brand right here on the radio. If you've got any questions about our process, how we do what we do, go check out youontheradio.com, youontheradio.com, and we'll be back tomorrow.
The Experience Pros, revolutionizing the way people treat people in business.